choose a better way. We can be a better people. We can make a better world. Welcome to Be In Podcast, where our goal is to solve all the world's problems. You laugh, but think about it. People's actions follow from their emotions and their attitudes. At the root of every single problem in the world, from conflict and climate change to workplace stress and road rage, are people acting out of fear, greed, and division. That is what we have to change. The Be In events are designed to do just that, to normalize understanding, love, and unity worldwide. You can find out more about them at www.be-in.life. And I am your host, Jennifer Sullivan. Today, we have the pleasure, and I'm so excited to be talking to Travis Patton Sr. He is a passionate storyteller, he is a podcast host, and he's an advocate for amplifying underrepresented voices. We have a lot to talk about, but today his work centers on creating safe and practical spaces for people to share their stories. They find healing and they grow. And through his podcast and personal journey, Travis inspires others to embrace their unique strength and turn life's challenges into opportunities for transformation. Welcome, Travis. Thank you so much for being here.
What's up, Jen? How you doing?
I love your enthusiasm. It's so much. It's like, okay, yes, me too. I'm enthusiastic too.
It is so good to be here. And everybody who's streaming, who's watching, guys, I'm excited to be here. When Jen asked me to be here, I think I was drinking some tea. I love drinking tea. So Jen messaged me, right? And she goes, "Hey, Travis, would you like to be on the show?" I'm drinking tea. I'm like, what? Yeah, be on your show? Absolutely. Are you kidding me? So I'm excited to be here. And guys, this is a 9. This is not even a 10 for me. So I dialed it back a little bit.
Well, I'm so excited.
Your audience out the water.
I'm so excited to have you here. I was on yours as well, and we had a great time. So,
man, that was crazy.
Epic.
It's right now. It is actually one of my trending downloads. So I wanted to surprise you with that. So it is one of my trending downloads right now. People loved your story. They loved how you engaged with them, and you really resonated with a lot of people. And of course, the podcast is heard, in a lot of countries. And for it to be trending in the download, says huge, Jen, that you spoke to so many different types of people who recognize where you are. And the feedback I'm getting is I enjoy listening to her talk about her individual struggle. A lot of times you hear their struggle and they're on the other side, and it's the rainbow, and it's the butterflies. And we hear just like, "Hey man, I'm still navigating this thing. And some days I'm trying to figure this stuff out." And that was the best part. That was the biggest feedback that I got, because, you hear a lot of people's stories of how they go through challenges and they come out and it's over with and they're done and they forget about it. They write a book, they give you a 10-step page on how to come out of it. Jen had this incredible story of, "Guys, I've overcome some stuff, but there's some days I'm not sure if I've overcome it or if I'm still in the middle of it." And that resonated with so many people. And Jen, I want to make sure I get on here and hand you your flowers for that, and told you, kudos, man. That was great.
Thank you so much. That is that's exactly what I try. I mean, this isn't about the Be-In, but that's exactly what I try and do with Becoming Untethered. Is I want to reach the people who when you're done and all ready with it, you're like, "Oh, I wrote a book and I'm totally cured." People are like, "Yeah, okay."
But what is it? But what's it like for me? What is it like for me who's still in the middle of this thing?
Right.
I'm still in the middle of this thing. How do I get to that point? Or is there ever a day that I get that? Or is it just managing this better?
Well, I mean, and also some people are out there saying, "Oh, I'm out of it," and presenting this front so that they seem a lot more together and more successful than they are. You know what I mean? And it's like, "Oh, no, but that's not what people actually are like."
It's nothing like that. When all the accolades have gone away and all the hurrahs and hoorays and the best Facebook posts or social media posts, whatever your social media post is, when everybody's giving you all the likes they can give you and give you all the comments they can get you, and you've monetized your post, all those things, At the end of the day, you go home, it's you by yourself and your thoughts alone. It's the real raw you. And it's that version of you that no one else sees. That's the real you. The one that you have to fight off those negative thoughts for. That individual that says, man, today was just sucked. And it's that person that you have to fight with. It's that person that you have to struggle. Our struggle, Jen, I learned our biggest struggle is not with the people that don't like us. Our biggest struggle is the thoughts between our two ears. The biggest fight you'll ever be in is the thoughts that you say about yourself. It's the stuff that you accept about yourself. It's not what your teacher said, not what your parents said, not what your friends said, not what the hater said to you on social media, but it's the things that we say about ourselves each and every day. Those are the things that matter most.
I couldn't agree with you more, because that's all you're hearing all day long.
Yep.
The stuff that's in your head. So, this is a good segue into what you do. So try and keep those things positive, right?
Exactly.
So I did want to mention that Travis is a podcast host of a podcast called Tell Me Something Good. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh man, great. First of all, the podcast came about. My cousin, she wrote a book, and I said, man, how did you do that? I've been wanting to write a book for years. So she told me how she wrote a book and she self-published it on Amazon. So I said, okay, cool. She gave me the steps. I did it. Wrote a book, an ebook. It was during 2020 during COVID. And I wrote a book and I self-published it, put it on Amazon. After about a week, it became a #1 download in this genre. Number one after about a week. I know, right? That was my look too, Jen. I was like, what? Right. I couldn't believe it. I kept looking at it. Like, no, this is not real. This is not real. But it shocked me. And so that's why I gotta follow this up. I've been wanting to do a podcast. Didn't know how to start, didn't know what to do. So I researched it for about a year or so, I guess. And my cousin had this thing where she would do every Tuesday on social media. It would be called Tell Me Something Good Tuesday, where you would just type in something good news, whatever it is you're good, thankful for, or whatever. And so I said, I need a title. So I took that, Tell Me Something Good. I did. I told her I took it. And I followed up behind the book. And the podcast, I wasn't going to start it. Honestly, I was afraid. I was afraid to put myself out there. I was afraid because once people like spotlight, but I learned spotlights can become searchlights because then people will pick at every little thing, and I had to count the cost up. Was I going to be emotionally strong enough and emotionally intelligent enough not to go off on somebody and not to just tell them how I feel about them and their opinion, and was I going to be mentally ready for people not? It wasn't the people. My concern wasn't people liking the show. My concern was if someone says, I don't like your voice, I don't like your podcast, I don't like what you're talking about. I had to spend time with me and dealing with what I thought people might not like me. I could care less about you liking me. That'll come. I'm a likable person. That'll come. But I want to know if I could handle someone not liking me.
Yeah.
And we spend a lot of time wondering about people liking us. And I say, well, if whatever we want to succeed at, we have to count for the successes as well as the failures, the ups as well as the downs. So I knew there were going to be some ups. I wasn't worried about clapping and celebrating. I was like, well, if someone says they don't like the show, how am I going to do it? How am I going to act? Am I still going to be able to tell somebody something good? Am I still going to keep the same energy up? And I realized I was. So then the show came about it, and I was delaying it because I wanted to get a co-host. My wife said, no, you don't need a co-host. She said, you're two people all by yourself. She said, no. She said, launch it. She said, you're just saying that because you're afraid. I was afraid to start. Had I remained afraid, I would have never started. The show would have gone on. I never would have met Jen. I never would have met so many wonderful people, all because my wife said, just start, just do it. And she said, do it while you are afraid. Just do it.
Yeah. That's true courage right there. Like, do it while you're afraid.
Do it. Shaking in my boots. I was afraid. I looked at the first episode a while back, just kind of reviewing and looking at it. I'm like, I have no idea who that person is because he is not the same me. It is not the same Travis. I'm more mild-mannered. Hi, this is Travis with TMG. Tell Me Something Good podcast. And I don't know how it transformed to who I am now. My wife said, this is who you really are. She said, this is just who you are. She said, I transform when I come on from a mic or when I was speaking to people, I just become a different person when I'm speaking to people. I said, no, I don't. She said, yeah, you do. She said, yeah, you do. She said, when you're speaking to people, you really, who you are comes out. She said, that's what you're meant to do. You're meant to do what you're doing. And so I've just tried to embrace that. And like you said, I just really try to take everything I've gone through in my life and make it a learning opportunity. And I heard someone tell me once, never waste anything that you've gone through, no matter what it is, no matter how bad it is. Don't waste any storm. Don't waste any frustrating moment. Don't waste any hurt, any pain. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. Use it. And I thought about my grandmother. My grandmother, when I'm from Mount Vernon, New York. My grandmother lived in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, which is about 30 minutes from where I live now. And she always had a farm or a garden in our yard. Always had a garden. And I would help her in the garden. And I remember one day, she had someone bring in a truck to fertilize her garden. I said, man, it's a lot of dirt, Big Mama. She said, that's not dirt, son. I said, what you mean it's not dirt? It's dirt. It looks like dirt. She said, no, it's not dirt. She said, it's manure. I said, what's manure? She said, it's manure. It's cow dung. I said, what are you going to do with all that? She said, we're going to take that and we're going to shovel it on these vegetables. I said, why can't you just use fertilizer? He said, this is the best fertilizer there is. Just really good. I said, but you just told me what it is. She said, yeah, but it's going to help it. I said, you kidding me? She's like, no, man, we're going to get this manure. She said, put on your gloves and your boots. Come on outside with me. So I'm outside shoveling manure, Jen. Shoveling manure on squash, on cucumbers, on stuff in his garden she's planted. And I said, this is ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous. I'm a little kid. This is ridiculous. I'm about
Right,
10,
right.
10, 11 years old. I'm thinking, this is ridiculous now. I'm going to do what she said do because, one, I don't want to be disruptive by her. And two, when she whoops you, it's no good. No good. Trust me. And so I'm shoveling this manure. And I come inside. I got to pull the stuff off because I just shoveling manure. And I come inside, man. She goes, just watch it. It's going to help it. Watch it. So after a while, I kept watering the garden. Sure enough, man, squash, big. The onions, the carrots, everything we're planting grew. And she said, even things that stink can help things grow. Even things that are stink. She said some of your most stinking moments. She said, if you look at it right, and if you use it right, and you use it properly, it can help you grow. She said, don't ever forget that. So I learned that even some of our most unpleasant moments, the things you want to turn away, the things that you question, the questionable moments of our lives. I mean, we just went through an election. Everybody's questioning everything. We got prices everywhere. There are a lot of questionable things going on right now in the world, and a lot of questionable things going on with ourselves. Those questionable moments, because I was questioning this manure. It was those questionable moments that we can find true growth in.
That is that was very beautifully put. I completely agree with that. And I love that story about your grandmother. It's fantastic.
Oh, I got a million of them. I got a million of them.
So your resilience and your triumph over adversity has had a lot to do with who you are, right?
Right?
So how did your early life, speaking about when you were 10 with your grandmother, how did that shape your perspective on what you do now?
Oh man, it shaped it a lot. I looked at my life, and resiliency has been something that's been in my life ever since I was born. And I know people say that, try to coin phrase and make themselves look good. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was born in Mount Vernon, New York, December 5th, 1969. Now, my mom, she smoked. So as a result of her smoking, they gave me a birth defect, which was the hole in my heart. It did not close. And from my understanding, people say, well, it happens all the time. It's normal, but it closes. Well, mine didn't close. It covered a great size portion of my heart. And the doctors and nurses, everything was scrambling. They didn't know what they were going to do. This is 1969. I have to stress that because the technologies we have now, we didn't have available then. And so the doctors had no idea what to do. They said, okay, guys, we got to try to find a way to operate on this guy to this killer. He's going to die in a few moments. He's literally going to die. He's not going to make it. So they said, well, he's too small. I was underweight. I was underweight. They said he's too small. He's not going to survive the surgery. Man. So here's my grandmother, my mom, they hearing this. They say, we don't know what we're going to do. He's too small to operate on. This hole is killing him. So they said, we can keep him alive on a ventilator and pump the blood through his body. 3 years for them to figure out what they could do. So for 3 years, I stayed alive in a ventilator and it was pumping blood through my body. And all I remember is being a kid in a hospital for the first 4.5, 5 years of my life. And so they operated on me. And now when they operated on me, they said, look, yeah, we were successful, but we don't know what kind of quality of life he's going to have. I don't know if he's going to be able to live long because, we're not sure if what we did will work. They said he won't be able to play like other kids. He won't be able to run and jump like other kids because of that. So a lot of his life is going to be limited. Well, my mother and my grandmother are the wrong people to tell things like that because they lived in the South and they understood what resiliency meant. And they said, okay. So my grandmother, she said, well, I'm just going to go pray. So she said, I'm going to go pray and say, hey, God, listen, you need a boy, you need a man, you need a person. I'm going to give you him if you keep him alive. Here I am, just celebrated my 55th birthday, December 5th. So everything they told me I couldn't do, they said, well, now, initially, I did get winded walking up steps. I could walk up 4 steps, I'm winded. I could take a few steps and I'm winded. But my grandmother told me what they said I could not do. She said, they said you'll never be able to ride a bike. You won't be able to run and play. You won't be able to jump. You won't be able to do those things. Okay. Wrong thing to tell me. So everything they told me I could not do, I did on purpose. Not necessarily because I wanted to, but because I had this voice saying I could not. It gave me this limit, this cap at the beginning. And I was like, no, you're not going to tell me I'm not going to enjoy my life. I rode my bike everywhere, all day, all sun up to sundown. I ran track, long distance track. I mean, I did all gymnastics. I played football, played basketball, run up and down steps. I run up and down steps now on purpose, just because there was this initial voice that said I could not do it. So tell me I can't. I'm going to prove you wrong.
I love that. That's beautiful. That takes a very specific mindset too. I mean, I would like to say that I'm like that, but I'm not.
I'm defiant. I've learned to be defiant, not just resilient. I learned to just be defiant. You say I can't do it, okay? And I was like that with my grandmother. She'd say, "Don't do this, boy," and I would do it. But then I just learned that that's me. I said, "Okay, wait a minute. I can just take that and put that in a positive way, so I don't have to be defiant in a negative way. I can be defiant in a positive. When something tells me I'm not in a good mood today, okay, yes, I am going to be in a good mood. You're not having a good day today. Yes, I am having a good. I'm going to do something on purpose to make sure my day is good. I do this. I do this. I'll be in my office and I'll be downstairs and I'll just scream at the top of my voice. And my wife's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Man, I'm having a fantastic day." And it's all because I heard something that said, "Man, you're not feeling good today." I'm like, "Yes, sir, I'm feeling fantastic." You have to do things on purpose to flip the script. You have to do things on purpose to make yourself say, you know what? It's not going exactly how I want it to be. Oh, yeah, but this is good. This is going to be another good day.
I love it. I love it. You have you're very passionate about giving a voice to people who feel unheard.
I am.
So what have you learned from individuals who've shared their stories on your platform?
I've learned that we're all alike. Everybody's story is different. Even when you were on, Jen, your story is different. Everybody's story is different. I learned the whole world is like a book. The entire world is like a book. And each page is a person's life. And everybody's story on that page is absolutely different. No matter what your background is, no matter where you come from, I've learned we all have different stories and different variations of sometimes the same story. But what I've learned about myself in that is that all the things I've ever gone through in my life, I'm not the only one. And a lot of times we suffer hardships and we go through different things and we tell ourselves, man, I'm the only one who ever done this. I'm the only one who's ever felt this way. Man, nobody feels this pain like me. And I've listened to so many people. I've talked to people who've had children who've been shot at school, and I've heard their pain, and I've heard parents who kids who committed suicide. I've heard all kinds of stories from people all over the world, and I've learned that everybody's story is different, but everybody's entitled to their story. Everybody's entitled to what their pages say, and that everybody's voice matters. That's what I've learned, because a lot of times, we get capsulated by our own story and our own stuff on our pages, but everyone's stories matters. And I think part of it goes to, I've always been the small kid, I've always been the skinny one, I've always been the short person. So I've always been the one that was easily overlooked. And
Mm.
because I've been the one that's always been easily overlooked, and let me just say this to your guests right now who may be watching and listening. You might be a person who feels like you're just easily overlooked, like you're in parentheses, like no one has ever paid you any attention. It doesn't matter how much attention someone else pays you, pay attention to yourself. Pay attention to who you are, because your individual story does matter. And that's what I've learned, Jen, that everyone's story matters. Everyone's voice matters. Everyone's voice. And when I say voice, I'm not talking about people who are just verbal, even individuals who are non-verbal. Let me say that individuals who are non-verbal, their story matters because their voice resonate as well. However they communicate, for those who may be using sign language, your voice matters. For those who may be using your computer and you're typing it on a screen, your voice matters. For those who may be using sound and bells and tones, your voice matters. To those who may just use their eyes and point around, your voice matters. It doesn't matter how your voice gets out there, it matters.
That is, I think, such a beautiful sentiment to put out there to people. Because I know that there are a lot of people who feel like they've been overlooked, and just the idea that they matter is kind of foreign to them.
Yep.
Uh, but it's so true. Like, people can learn from you, people can respond to you, people can resonate with you, and you can help people just by telling your story.
Tell it. Tell your story. Tell it. Tell your story. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't keep it to yourself. Tell your story, because you never know who you're going to reach. You never know. It may be your story, but it's not just for you.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So when you are interviewing someone,
Mhm.
you were working on getting their voice out, but not just their voice, but their authentic true self.
Exactly.
So how do you do that? How do you create a safe space so people can open up?
Uh, First thing I do, Jen, is I love to meet people before the show. That's number one. But if I don't have an opportunity to meet people before the show, what I've done is this. I look at me and I ask myself, what would I want someone to do for me to make me feel comfortable? And the times I didn't feel comfortable, what was it that I wanted someone to say to me that would make me feel so comfortable and feel so safe? And so whenever I'm trying to reach people, make them feel safe, you know what, Glenn? I already got my mind made up. I accept you
Mm.
exactly who you are. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to put on a show. You don't have to do anything different than just show up. My mind is already settled. I accept you. I accept you. When I had you on the show, I accept you, Jen. That you don't have to do anything else other than be your sweet self. I accept you. And a lot of people struggle with that, Jen. I want you to know that. You don't have to put on no special clothes. You don't got to sing no song. You ain't got to buy no birthday cake. You need to understand, Jim, that I accept you. Period.
And I receive that, and I want you to know that I accept you and I celebrate you. You're amazing. And I think that's, like you just said, accepting yourself is the most important thing. Something that helps people do that is when others accept them as they are.
Exactly. 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 I've learned not to find my value in other people's acceptance of me. I
Mhm.
add it to my own value that I see in myself because I learned this whenever I got this when I was going to a therapist, and I struggled a lot about self acceptance and
Mm.
my self worth and self value. Yeah, I did. I told y'all I did. And but I told my therapist, I went in one day and said, I said, I got this epiphany. She said, what is it? I learned that wherever I go, three people always follow me and they're always cheering me on. They're always patting me on the back. They always got me. She said, well, who is it? What is it? Me, myself, and I. Everywhere I go, they're with me. And they're always cheering me on. They're always got my back. They never let me down. If I look in the mirror, me, myself, and I saying, you got this. Even when it's a bad day, me, myself, and I say, you can do this. I can feel in a questionable moment, but me, myself, and I will tap me on the shoulder, say, yeah, it's questionable, buddy, but I know you. Oh, I know you. You got this. If anybody can do this, you can do this. If anybody can pull themselves out of this, you can pull yourself out of this. Me, myself, and I will always have my back.
On this podcast, we kind of talk about our core values, which are presence, peace, and power in unity. And I was thinking about your podcast as like spreading good vibes and making sure people, really keep on the positive. But this is even more impactful. It's how do you think, if you said you struggled with self-worth and stuff like that,
Oh, absolutely.
how did you kind of cross that bridge?
Here's what I did. Uh, I learned that, like any bridge, Jim, you don't necessarily always cross it.
Right.
Sometimes, Jen, your foot is on the bridge and your other foot is on the other side. So sometimes you're kind of almost straddling it.
Hmm.
And there are times, Jen, when you're crossing at a certain point because you're never really off it. You know why? Because life will always throw unexpected things at you. And you don't know how you will handle that moment until you're in it. You can't say, well, everything comes my way, I'll be perfectly happy. Of course not. Of course not. Absolutely not. There are times you just find yourself at different positions on the bridge, in other words. Sometimes you're closer to this side, sometimes you're closer to the middle, sometimes you're closer at the beginning. And there's sometimes you will walk a good distance and you think you're doing well, and there are times you slip and you go, oh man, I'm back at the beginning again. So it's all about managing the position where you are on the bridge. And I get it. People say, man, I've crossed that bridge. I'm done with it. Some things you definitely will. Some things you absolutely will get over. Habits, yes, you can absolutely get over things. Bad behaviors, yes, you can absolutely get over. But there are some things that you will find yourself just managing the position of where you are on that bridge. And you will tell yourself, because I'm not off this bridge, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to do this. I'm not smart enough. I'm not this. I'm not. And we will remain on the I'm not bridge all of our lives. Let me
Mhm.
help some of you out. If you're still on that I'm not bridge, it's not about where you are not. It's about everything that you're trying at the moment. I am not good enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. My hair, everything's a not. It's not about where you are on that bridge. Understand, you're going to be in different positions on that bridge. And one day you may be further ahead than you were last week. And all it is, recognizing that I'm going to manage this position on this bridge. This is where I am. I'm going to manage it until I take my next step. Once we do that, Jen, what happens is we begin to develop stability. As we develop that stability, we can then take more certain steps. Our steps become more sure. We can take more certain steps. We take bigger steps. And now, not only can we take bigger steps, Jim, now we're taking longer steps, which means it means there's a longer time in between the last time we failed. There's a longer distance between the last time we slipped. Last time you slipped, it was a week. Last time it was a month. Now it's a year, 2 years, 3 years. Now you're finding that those gaps in between that last slip are getting longer because you're developing that stability. Find out where you are on that bridge. Don't lie to yourself. Tell the truth. You know what? I'm in a tough spot right now on this bridge, and right now this bridge is Seneca's getting the best of me. But I'm going to manage where I am. I'm going to acknowledge where I am. I'm going to take the very next step. Once I do that, okay, I'm going to take another step. Before I do that, I'm going to take it. Before you know it, I don't care how long that bridge is, Jen. Every bridge is crossed the same way. Let me help you guys out. Every bridge is crossed the exact same way. One step at a time. I don't care how many miles that bridge is. I don't care who built it. I don't care what year it was built in. I don't care whose granddaddy built it. I don't care who financed it. It's all crossed the same way. One step at a time. Even if you run, it's still one step at a time.
It's a very good point, even if you run. So your role in your personal community, you're in your family, you're a mentor, you're a friend. How is that sort of shaping who you are today?
It's helped me realize that that's who I meant to be all along.
Mm.
A lot of us, people, you ask a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be this. I want to be that. I want to be this. I want to be that. And we'll try to tailor their education according to what they said, what they did. Now, here's what is crazy. We will try and tailor an adult's education based on what a 3-year-old said. Yeah, 3-year-old said, I want to be a pilot. Okay, you're going to be a pilot. You got to take math. You got to take science. And at this point, this 16-year-old is no longer interested in becoming a pilot. I thought you said you wanted to be a pilot. I said that when I was 3. I also said I wanted to be an alligator and a clown and a ghost and a monkey. I said a lot of stuff when age 3. Good gosh. I mean, come on, man. Let's be real here. So, but as we go on in life, as we begin to experience different things, a lot of times based on those experiences and how we have processed them, we begin to realize this is who I really be. This is who I really am. And everything I am now, being mentoring people, and I do mentor people, helping in the communities, volunteering in different places, all those things, and bringing awareness to things, all those things have me realize I'm better when I'm involved in something larger than myself. Whenever I'm a part of something much larger than me, man, I'm like, man, I feel good. I like this. It's not all the attention's not on me. I don't have all the pressure on me. I don't have to make every decision. I don't have to always be the leader. I don't always have to be the one, telling everybody what to do or designing things or putting things into place. When there's something larger than me, to me, I get that sense of relief because I do not have to make all the decisions. I don't have to do everything. And I can sit here behind the scenes and work alongside those who are already got something working and going well. I love that. Like when you asked me to be on your show, I was excited. Part of me was so excited because I don't have to put this show together. I don't have to do anything but show up. No, I'll let you do all the hard work. I just show up.
I get that. I definitely get that. So ultimately, what do you want to accomplish with your platform?
What I would like to do with my platform, I absolutely would love to continue doing what I'm doing and providing that voice for the voiceless. I really want to be. I don't know. My mind is going to so many different directions with it. I was thinking, hopefully, maybe I try to design it where it's kind of like an actual talk show. I try to design it so it's kind of like a talk show vibe and talk show feel to it. But ultimately, what I would like the show to do is to reach even further. And when I say even further, I mean the different areas like government, places like that, give our government officials an opportunity to come in and provide insight on different things and how it impacts people's lives. But to me, the show is headed in the right direction that I wanted to go in. As long as it's continue to impact and reach people, to me, that's what it's all about. It is all about reaching people and impacting their everyday life.
I love that. So you and I are very similar in some ways. We have we really believe in the power of storytelling.
Yeah.
So so that other people recognize, like, okay, yeah, my voice does mean something. How do you think telling your story can even create a cultural shift towards
Oh,
more
yeah.
compassion and understanding?
Absolutely. First is in the Black culture. There's a lot of things they say, "Oh, if it's whatever secret's going on or whatever's happening, they say keep it in the house. Don't tell nobody. Keep it in the house." It's a huge thing in Black culture. Just keep it in the house. Whatever it is, just keep it in the house. Well, sometimes that works, but sometimes it doesn't when it's major. When it's a major issue, like maybe mental illness, no, we're not keeping that in the house. We're gonna go tell somebody, get this person some help. Why would little June bug over there, something's wrong with him? Come on now, don't keep that in the house. Go tell the doctor, get some mental help for this young person. And a lot of times, uh, in order for a cultural shift to happen, sometimes, Jen, we have to be able to share the things that we want to keep hidden.
Yeah.
We want to keep it close to the vest. We don't want to talk people, and we have to be able to have an open dialogue with people, those who don't look like us, who don't sound like us, who has a different background than us. As long as we're only trying to reach those who are in our circle or look like us or been around us, we'll keep it's the same information, just recirculating the same information. You're not getting anything new. And then we say, and that's why a lot of people they're in the same rut as their parents were, their grandparents were, because no, why? The reason we're in the same rut because nobody reached outside of the circle. Well, at 25, his dad was that way, his uncle was that way. Nobody reached outside the circle. And if we begin to take that and say, "Hey guys, we need to reach outside. We need to include other people. We need to be more inclusive." When I say inclusive, I'm not just talking about acknowledging that other cultures exist. And to me, inclusive means immerse yourself, get involved in something different, get involved in someone else. You know, I learned this that we humans, every person, every human is the solution to someone else's problem.
Mm.
Jen, you are the solution to someone's problem. You may not feel like it at days, you may doubt yourself about it, but you are the solution to someone's problem. And 9 out of 10, it's somebody who doesn't look like you. It's someone who doesn't sound like you. It's someone who doesn't have your background. It's someone somewhere else on the other side of this world. You are the solution to their problem. But Travis, how do you know that? Man, think about all the things that's been invented. Think about, I want you to think of pasteurized milk. Were they American? Nope. Were they living here in America? No. The people who invented pasteurization was in France, a whole nother country. But yet, their solution has impacted every person on this planet. So you are the solution to somebody's problem. Chances are they don't look like you. They don't speak the same language that you do. They're not from the same culture as you. So you can't tell me where you're not when history tells me over and over again, we are the solution to someone else's problem. We have to be willing to reach across that cultural divide. Differences are only there to show us just how much we need the other person, because my differences will be different than yours, but I guarantee you, if we put them together, like, oh, Jen could be like, oh, Travis, I can do that. Like, Jen, I can't do that, but you can. I need you. Like, Travis, I can't do that, but Jen, I can. I need you. That's all the differences they're for. They're just showing how much we need one another. That's all it is.
That is just so well put. Like everything you say is just so well put, and it really hits. So I'm so grateful to have you here. All right, well, thank you for being here. Thank you very, very, very much. That was so much fun. That was like seriously very epic, very, very cool. So this has been the Be In podcast. I hope you all stay tuned for the next Be In event, which the tentative day right now is May 10th, 2025. We're creating a little pocket of the world that we all want to live in. And when people leave, we watch it spread. So by holding these
Oh,
events, yeah, it's awesome. By holding these events regularly and eventually in cities across the world, we create consistent opportunities for people to experience and practice kindness, understanding, and connection. This regular exposure to positive interactions helps shift individual attitudes and behaviors. As more people participate, it builds a collective momentum, challenging the prevailing norms of fear and division. Over time,
Love it.
yeah, right? Like, I mean, seriously. Over time, this is going to create a cultural shift where empathy and unity become more familiar and accepted. And that's going to influence how communities engage and how societies operate. Our evolution is the revolution.
I love that.
Yeah, woo! So you can go to www.b-in.life to find out more about us and to join the evolution.
Woohoo!
Until next time.